video, I'm going to show you how to play your guitar percussively. Percussive guitar is a very popular way to play an acoustic guitar, and as difficult as it may look to do, I'm going to show you how easy it is to be up and running with this style through some basic percussive guitar techniques for your playing. Hi, this is Simon Candy from acousticguitarlessonsonline.net, and today I'm going to run you through a number of percussive techniques that can be executed across the body of the guitar with both your picking and fretting hands, emulating the various parts of a drum kit. I will show you ways to get a kick drum or bass drum sound, as well as the snare, rim shot, toms and hi-hat sounds across the body of your acoustic. You will then combine these approaches to create very cool beats and grooves, essentially turning your guitar into a drum kit. I will also show you how to take these beats and grooves and integrate them into chord vamps and progressions on your guitar. So you have both percussive and melodic elements all going on at the same time. Watch the video until the end for a special free resource I have for you that will take your percussive skills even further. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's start by looking at each technique, each sound that we're going to replicate of a drum kit on the body of the guitar in isolation first, because as always, looking at things in isolation is the place to begin before we start to put these things together. So I'm going to run through a few basic percussive sounds, percussive guitar sounds, or sounds that we can get percussively on the guitar. There's endless ways you can do this stuff. There's lots of variety. So I'm just going to give you some of the key ones, I guess you could say. So first off, I want to show you what I would call a muted slap. And it's the thumb of your guitar just coming to slap down onto the lower strings, typically the lower strings. You're not trying to hit all 6 strings here at all. You just simply want to flick the wrist of your picking hand and have the thumb come to rest on the strings. And as soon as you hit the strings with the thumb, you just relax the hand. So we're not hammering into the strings here like we're hammering a nail into the wall. It's not really executed from the elbow here. It's more the wrist, the flick of the wrist, keeping it very relaxed. And as soon as you hit those strings, your hand basically goes limp, and you can hear the sound that you get, which we could relate to, it sort of corresponds with the hi-hat sound perhaps on a drum kit. Okay, and that's what the muted slap is all about. So that's one sound that we can get. Another sound is the bass drum or the kick drum. And essentially for this sound, I'm going to use the heel of my hand, right? The heel of my picking hand here. I'm going to hit the front side of the guitar just down, down around this area here. And as you can hear, I get something that replicates a kick drum. It's quite effective. Okay, so it's simply just I bring my fingers, sort of curl them up like this, get them out of the way, and the contact I make with the body of the guitar, the soundboard down here, is the heel of my hand. So again, that's my bass drum. The snare, let's talk about the snare or the rim shot, which is hitting the side of the snare. Now that's going to be achieved by, you can use different finger combinations here. I prefer to use my pinky and my ring finger together to do this. You can use your middle and ring fingers if you like. It's up to you. But I tend to favor these 2 fingers, and they come together like this. So it's the pinky and the ring finger, and they're going to wrap around the side of the guitar and do this. So I'm hitting it right here, right on the side of the guitar. And I'm after that higher end sort of sound when I hit. That's what I get when I hit that part of the guitar. It's not anything like this, of course, which is good because we want it to sound more like a snare. Okay, and it's a matter of hitting it flush with the side of the guitar there, so that the base of those 2 fingers are flush with the guitar. Okay, the edge of the guitar. So you don't want to sort of hit from the tip of the fingers or halfway down the fingers. You want to hit right there, so you get that popping sort of sound. Okay, not sort of like someone's knocking on the door. It can take a little bit of time to get used to that. To to get that consistent popping sound. But that's the sound of the snare or the rim shot. Okay, so that's on the side, just right there on the body of the guitar, the side of the guitar. Another hit that we can do here is with the thumb. Okay, and it's a little bit like the thumb slap, except you're not going to slap the strings. You're going to just simply hit where you did with, more or less where you hit with the heel of the hand, but you're going to use the side of the thumb. And that's more like a tom sound, like the toms on the drum kit. Okay, and that's pretty simple. There's nothing different in terms of the technique when you were doing the thumb slap on the strings to get that hi-hat sound. It's just on the soundboard of the guitar down here. Okay, and one other one that I might bring in here is the fretting hand. It often comes up and hits the guitar as well to contribute to some sort of percussive beat or groove. And so there's lots of things it can do, but one very simple one is just simply to hit the side of the guitar. Okay, and it can, as you'll see, contribute to a groove with the picking hand doing the various things. Okay, so just to summarize briefly here, we've got the hi-hat sound with the thumb slap, the muted slap. We've got the bass drum sound with the heel of the hand. We've got the snare or the rim shot with the ring finger and the pinky right around the side of the guitar. And what else did we have? We had the toms with essentially the thumb slap, but on the soundboard of the guitar here. And if we like, we can bring in the fretting hand to hit the side of the guitar. So all of these are very important to practice in isolation first. Some of them, particularly the snare rim shot one, takes a little bit of getting used to, at least it did for me when I was learning it, to get that consistent sort of pop-in sound is probably the best way I can describe it. You want to hear that higher end sound that very much is reminiscent of hitting a snare drum. Okay, so now that we've had a look at a few of the percussive techniques in isolation, let's look at a few examples of combining some of these to create some beats and grooves on the body of your guitar. So let's see, to start, let's just get the kick drum and the snare going, because a typical rock beat will see the kick drum sounding on 1 and 3, the first and third beats, and the snare typically sounds on 2 and 4. So we can get that going with our kick and our snare sounds, simply going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So that's a good place to start. Just get a solid beat going there with the kick drum and the snare. Okay, something that you could add to this that I didn't really cover before, but it's very simple, is just to take your fretting hand and play an 8th note rhythm. Slap the strings in an 8th note rhythm, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and to emulate the hi-hat that typically would go along with a rock beat. You have the kick on 1, the snare on 2, the kick on 3, the snare on 4, all the while the hi-hat is going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So if we put those two together, we get this. That's one groove that you can get going there to start to bring some of these elements together that emulates a typical rock beat. Another combination could be the similar, but what we're going to do is we're going to add to the kick drum and the snare the tom. Okay, and the tom's going to come in on the end of 1 and the end of 3, I think it is, just after the kick. So it goes like this: 1 and 1 and. Okay, so we've got the kick drum, and then we're going to follow it with the snare again. So it's okay, so it's 1 and 2, 3 and 4. We've got the kick, the tom, the snare, the rim shot. So remember, it's the heel of the hand, the flick of the thumb to hit the body of the guitar here, and then the ring and fingers hitting the side of the guitar here. That's what we're doing there. Then the rhythm is 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. If you wanted a slight variation of that, would be to come back after the snare hit with the tom again on the end of 3. That would be in the end of 4. So you get the sum of all those parts is a straight eighth note rhythm. So it's like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's another combination of the elements that we were looking at before to create a little bit of a groove or a beat on your guitar. Something very similar to that, and bringing in the fret hand again. Remember, we had this very simple hit on the side of the body of the guitar here. So essentially I'm going to do the same thing here: 1 and 2, 3 and 4. But on the offbeat of 2 and 4, the end of 2 and 4, I'll hit with my hand on the side of the guitar. So with that now added, it's going to be the sum of all those parts will be a straight eighth note rhythm. So it'll be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1. And that's to get, again, bringing in this hand, get everything coordinating together. These aren't super hard things. They might take a little bit of getting used to, but I don't want to give you anything that's super difficult here, because good, simple things sound really great and they don't take that long. You know, you might need to put a little bit of time into it, of course, but it's not super hard to do. It really isn't. So there's some ways that we can take the elements we looked at first in isolation and put them together on the body of the guitar to create some very cool beats and grooves. Okay, so now let's bring in some actual guitar playing here to go with our grooves, our beats, our percussive techniques here. Okay, so we're going to bring in some simple, well, the first one's going to be a simple little chord vamp. And what we're going to do, the actual guitar part is going to be an E minor chord, open chord, to an A suspended 2 chord. Okay, real simple chord shapes here for us to play. And the percussive elements we're going to bring in here is a muted slap, that hi-hat sound. And we're also going to bring in the heel of the hand, the thumb, and the snare. Okay, so what happens is I strum the chord, then I do the muted slap and I strum the chord again. 1, like that. And then once I've strummed the chord, on the follow through of the strumming down here, my heel of the hand comes around to hit the bass, the tom, and the snare. So it's okay, that's the basic groove, and I do the same with the A suspended 2 chord here. So it's the okay, that's it. So it's combining the muted slap, the kick drum, tom and snare, along with an E minor to A suspended 2 chord. So let's put that together. Let me play it through for you so you can hear it a little bit more without any interruption. Okay, so that's the first groove. Really simple. Of course, you know, it can take a little getting used to, so I don't mean to imply that you'll just be up and doing that 5 minutes later, but it won't be 5 years later, it won't be 5 months later, and it most likely won't be 5 weeks later either. Okay, so that's one example. Let me show you another example applying some of the beats and grooves to a chord vamp here. So this time I'm going to play a C to a G chord, standard chord, skip it real simple here in the fretting hand. And a similar thing going on here. What we're going to do here is we're going to hit the C chord, and then I'm going to hit the heel of the hand, the kick drum, the tom, the snare, and I think I hit the tom again. Yes, that's the elements, right? I hit the C chord, and then I hit my heel of the hand, tom, snare, tom, and then I come back up on the chord and I hit it again. So it's like this. Okay, so the challenge here can be keeping the guitar part going and a steady groove. That's sort of the challenge here. But what I'm doing here, as I strum down and follow through, I then change into the percussive mode and give my bass drum, my tom, my snare, my tom, and then I get the strum back up on the chord, and that's the end of the cycle. And now it's going to repeat with the down on the C, kick drum, tom, snare, tom, up strum. And then I'm going to do the same on the G chord. Everything's identical. I'm just holding a G chord now. So it's a down strum on G, kick drum, tom, snare, tom, up strum on G. Then we begin the cycle again. Down strum on G, heel, kick drums, tom, snare, tom, up strum. Okay, so now I'm going to put the C and G chord together in a little vamp and put that beat in there. Okay, so I might do a couple of bars on each chord here. Okay, that type of thing. There's a few examples of starting to bring in some actual guitar playing to go with the grooves and the beats that we were creating with our percussive elements on the body of the acoustic. If you like the percussive techniques that we've looked at in today's video, then you will love this free video tutorial and PDF booklet I've created for you on how to play your guitar percussively. In this video tutorial, you'll learn all the basics to the style of percussive guitar playing. We'll reinforce the things that we've had a look at in today's lesson, as well as other techniques that make up this style of playing, including string and fret hand slapping that adds to the overall sound of this style. I will show you how to use these sounds to create more beats and grooves on the body of your guitar, as well as additional ways to integrate these cool techniques into the songs you play. I walk you through all of this on the video so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Plus you get a detailed PDF booklet that has all the examples, tablatures and explanations of everything covered in the video. So click the link in the description below this video and download your free percussive guitar video and PDF booklet. You'll have it in your inbox within minutes. Let me know in the comments section what guitar topics you'd love to see covered in future videos. I read every comment and I would love to hear your suggestions. If you like this video, then hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to hit the notification bell button so YouTube can tell you when I release a new video. This is Simon Candy from AcousticGuitarLessonsOnline.net. As always, thanks for watching this video. I appreciate your time and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.